You've never seen a Marvel Legends Snap Savage Land review like this. This rare SDCC exclusive 3-pack, Sauron, Rogue, and Shanna didn't stay in their costumes for long. Did I risk breaking this expensive Marvel Snap Savage Land set just to unleash the wild side? Let's find out. Before we dive into the details, I pick up this Marvel Legends Snap Savage Land 3-pack Rogue, Shanna, and Sauron from EB Games, which is Australia's official GameStop partner. I expect it to drop in our online shop in a couple of weeks, and we will be selling it at Australian retail price. Looks like Hasbro prioritized EB Games this time. This Savage Land set comes with a handful of accessories, including Shanna's very odd weapon, a rifle. That might sound strange in a Savage Land display, but according to this Frank Cho comic cover, she is shown holding a rifle, even though she never actually uses it in the issue itself. You'll also notice her costume is completely different on that of Frank Cho's art. The outfit Hasbro has put on this version isn't really from Marvel Snap, and honestly, I can't pinpoint which specific comic book run it's supposed to be. If you know which comic book, let me know in the comments below. Taking a closer look at Savage Land Rogue, who I initially joked to look like a Sabrina Carpenter, turns out many of you pointed out she's more of an Ana de Armas, and I agree. It makes sense Hasbro would use her as an inspiration given her big screen popularity and how she does her movies. Unfortunately, we only get one Ana de Armas style rogue head here, so no matter what she's doing, power walking, punching a dinosaur, or just resting, the face remains red carpet ready, like a runaway model. She has blue inkjet printed eyes, red pout, perfect brows, and a green bandana. Not even a T-Rex could shake this expression. I almost wish that this rogue was given a expression similar to Shanna. More on her shortly. Rogue's windswept hair sculpt with a trademark white tuft looks great, but at this premium SDCC 3-pack, I genuinely wish Hasbro included an alternate head, especially when Mondo gave us multiple rogue heads in a 1/6 scale. Her necklace is a separate accessory with nicely sculpted tooth details. The yellow X shirt layered over her green Savage Land vest is also a removable overlay. More cheekiness later. There's a weird printed dirt mark on her right chest that reminds me of the classic Gen 13 90s art style. Hasbro's Savage Land Rogue costume, definitely not Uncanny X-Men Jim Lee art or the recent Rogue the Savage Land comics. This feels more like a Hasbro tactical redesign than true comic book accuracy, which is why some collectors are leaning towards the Mondo version for display accuracy. Her arms and legs reuse the Dark Avengers Warbird sculpt with an older style female torso, meaning there is no ab crunch. From her hips is a green fabric looking plastics, which is a separate piece. It's part of her Outback era costume. Underneath, Hasbro painted green just to make sure she doesn't get a breezy look. Thankfully, the straps on her legs is a separate piece with nicely sculpted details. It's not painted on. The same is true for the ones on her arms. The ripped part of her yellow shirt is sculpted on. Same is true for the yellow strap on her left arm. The boots are also a separate plastic part, but even after a blow dry, the boot cut doesn't hide a lower cap swivel. Definitely a missed opportunity for dynamic posing. Moving on to Shanna, sorry Frank Cho fans like me, this one may disappoint. The stoic head sculpt does match her comic art with inkjet blue eyes and darker lipstick than Rogue, but her costume is not accurate to her Marvel Snap appearance. In the game and the comics, she wears a cheetah skin design with spots. Here the removable wheat colored pieces are plain. Once removed, purely for scientific review reasons, you can see that her outfit pieces are entirely separate tooling from Rogue's, even if they look similar. Of course, the piece resting on her shoulder is on the opposite side. Rogue and Shanna share the same arms, torso, and legs. The boots are similar but newly tooled. The design of the boot cut is different for Shanna. Now, the centerpiece of this 3-pack, Sauron. He's effectively the old Build-A-Figure reused and repainted, but with much appreciated improvements. The eyes change from deep red to yellow with red hypnosis lines to better match his Marvel Snap look. The base mold is the same, but the new version gets a beautiful paint wash that brings out all the sculpted details, something the original Build-A-Figure lacked. His loincloth is now game-accurate purple, though personally I still like the original brown, more savage look. The new one has double-jointed, pinless knees, although he still has a single-jointed arm. The best upgrade? The bendy wire tail. The original fixed tail was tough to display on shelves. This one bends and finishes in a leaf-shaped tip, which poses far better than the original one. In this 3-pack loaded with accessories, only Sauron has one accessory, which is this new hypnosis type of effect, which you plug in his nostrils. Literally, it seems that pinkish effect is coming out of his nose. It's a clever strategic design of Hasbro for the hypnosis effect. With Shanna and Rogue sharing the same set of arms, it's just logical for Hasbro to use the same set of hands. Both comes with 6 hands. These closed fist hands can hinge forward and back. Rogue has green, while Shanna is a flesh color. Here is the second pair, which is a pair of open palm hands. They're exactly the same, just different color plastic for Rogue. There are sculpted fingernails on both, which is a bit odd for Rogue because she's supposed to be wearing gloves, unless her gloves is so thin that the fingernails can be seen. These hands can hinge forward and back. For the last pair of hands, bringing the grand total to 6, is a pair of weapon holding hands. Not trigger finger hands, really just weapon holding hands. And these hands can hinge forward and back. They will be used to hold on to the weapons included for the 2 ladies. The weapon holding hands are used by the ladies to hold on to long sticks, a wooden one, which is a hunting spear. They're different in terms of the thickness of the wood. The thickness of Shanna's wooden spear is thinner compared to Rogue because this is a reuse repaint of the one that came with Caesar. So these two are identical except for Shanna, wherein the gray stone has a shiny paint while Caesar's is flat gray paint. On the other hand, Rogue's spear is the same as Kraven the Hunter from the Spider-Man Retro Wave, just painted differently, but it's the exact same mold. The problem I have with this is the thickness of the wood. It deforms the hands of the figure. Both Savage Land Rogue and Shanna come with a dark gunmetal gray hunting knife, which is a repaint and reuse of Caesar's classic Marvel Legends knife. Each figure's loincloth even has a built-in slot to securely store the knife when not in use, making display and posing super easy for collectors. The final accessory is Shanna's rifle, nicely sculpted and painted with realistic browns and blacks. The only catch? She doesn't come with a trigger finger hand to actually use it. But that's true to Frank Cho's original comic book art, where she is shown just gripping the gun without actually firing it. I guess Hasbro just googled Shanna, saw this image, and say, let's do this. Or it's a homage to the 2008 SDCC exclusive Shanna, more on that on a different review. Hope you're enjoying this review so far. If you do, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and share this with your friends. For places where the figures in this review might still be available, I left some links in the description below. The Marvel Legends Snap 3-pack is an SDCC exclusive.
I'm Tuggernaut!
Sauron's hypnosis effect works like a charm. Rogue and Shanna follows his lead. Thankfully, we're keeping it fully collector friendly. With Sauron's help, he was useful after all. We're about to find out what's hiding underneath. All for science and collector insight, of course. Was there anything for the two to hide? Let's find out. Now, here's something a lot of collectors won't realize until they strip the figures down for review purposes. Both Shanna and Rogue actually have completely flat, shapeless upper torso underneath the removable costume overlays. All of the curves you think you are seeing are actually sculpted into those plastic costume pieces, not the body underneath. Removing the Savage Land outfits can actually be helpful if you're trying to recreate classic 90s comic book art, where artists often hid the female anatomy under strategic lines, belts, or clothing. It gives collectors a better scene of how figures could be posed or displayed to match that era without sculpted chests getting in the way, or the lack of for these two figures. For example, when you compare Shanna's bare torso to the Vospy Studio Epic Hacks Red Sonja, which I reviewed, hope you check it out, the difference is immediate. Red Sonja has a fully sculpted feminine chest even without her armor on, whereas Shanna's chest is completely flat. And just so nobody gets ideas, you can't use Shanna's plastic costume overlay on Red Sonja, because the costume is tight-fitted and simply won't stretch over a properly sculpted female torso. Rogue is in the same boat. Once her top is removed, she is totally flat, with the only standout feature being a large square slot cut into the middle, which is used to firmly lock down her yellow X top. Again, when you compare Rogue to Red Sonja, Rogue's actual torso looks almost unfinished in comparison. And just like before, Rogue's costume overlay is so tight it won't fit over Red Sonja or other curvier sculpt like the Crazy Figure LT004, which I reviewed. I was hoping to use this top on that, but there's no Kitbash magic here. So remember, I peeled and stress tested these pricey SDCC bodies so you don't have to go full Savage Land and break yours. Think of me as a Marvel Legends crash dummy armed with a heat gun and absolutely no fear. Now for a quick head swap, I'm using the Outback Rogue head on the relaxed Savage Land body, with no Savage Land costume of course. In another review, I'll perform some head swaps and also answer some of the great questions you left in the comments for this one. For now, you can see how easy it is to mix and match pieces for custom display without risking these expensive SDCC figures. Time for a size comparison. Let's see how the Marvel Legends Snap Savage Land 3-pack stacks up. First up, Shanna stands 15.8 cm or 6.2 inches. According to Marvel.com, her comic book height is 5 feet 10 inches tall, so this figure is just a touch taller. Rogue uses the same body, also 15.8 cm or 6.2 inches, but the info trading card lists her at 5 feet 8 inches in the comics, slightly taller here, but still works well for a 6-inch scale. Dr. Carl Likos, a true giant, 20.5 cm or 8 inches, compared to his comic book height of 7 feet. Next, let's line them up with other Savage Land characters, Marvel Legends Kesar, Sabu, and the Target exclusive Savage Land Professor X. This is how the SDCC 3-pack fits with the other Savage Land characters. Looking at the Gamerverse Marvel Legends I've covered, Thanos and Psylocke, Rogue and Shanna scales nicely. By the way, did Psylocke claim the top spot in my top 10 Marvel Legends 2025 list? Check that video to see. For X-Men 97 fans, here is a side-by-side comparison with Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. For different sizes of Marvel Legends Spider-Man, starting with the shorter Secret Wars Spider-Man, Maximum Series Spider-Man, Renew Your Vow Spider-Man, and the Ultimate Miles Morales. Now for some Marvel Legends female figures, X-Factor Jean Grey, Teenage X-Force X-23, 85th Anniversary Warbird, and the tall but pretty Fantastic Four She-Hulk. For some arcade nostalgia, Jada Toy Street Fighter 6-inch scale figures, Ryu, Kami, and Sagat. 112 scale Japanese brand Medicom Toy Mapex, Magneto, and Psylocke. Red Sonja from Executive Replicas and Loose Collector. Darna, Philippines version of Wonder Woman by Halimo Sculptures and Loose Collector. 6-inch scale Marvel Legends vs 7-inch scale Marvel Select, the 80th Anniversary Hulk, and the Marvel Select Immortal Hulk or Rampaging Hulk. Now, going through some Rogue collection of mine. Savage Land Rogue lined up with 90s inspired costume figures. Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Rogue, the Target exclusive Rogue, Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave Rogue, and the 7-inch scale Marvel Select Rogue. Amazon exclusive Brotherhood of Evil Mutants Rogue, J. Scott Campbell Rogue, Age of Apocalypse Rogue, and the Unity Squad Rogue. For packaging, they come in a large rectangular Marvel Legends Gamerverse box with a window. It is collector friendly as you can see the figure displayed. And there is a Marvel Snap logo at the bottom, Hasbro for ages 4 and up. On top are the logos of the 3 figures, Shanna the She-Devil, Sauron, Rogue. On the side is a dinosaur, Marvel Snap. On the other side, it is also another kind of dinosaur, Marvel Snap. These figures are part of the Gamerverse line by Hasbro. At the bottom, Gamerverse, some warning, legalities, consumer info, and the barcode. At the back is some Marvel Snap concept art of the figures, where the figures are based on. Because in the actual Marvel Snap game, they look entirely different. I mean, just a little. But for Shanna, the She-Devil, they completely redesigned her costume. For articulation, Rogue and Shanna's head can move from side to side with some hindrance because of their long hair. They cannot look up that much, can look down a bit. Arms can extend that far. Can do a full 360 right here with some hindrance because of their hair. Bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows. Wrist can swivel, hinge forward and back. They only have an upper torso swivel, cannot crunch forward that much, crunch backward that really well. They don't have a waist swivel. Both can do a split this well. Upper thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees, can kick far back this way, can kick forward, no boot cut swivel, feet can hinge forward and back and has an ankle rocker. Sauron's head can move from side to side easily, do a full 360, can look up that much, revealing a hole there, can look down that little, articulated jaw, arms can extend really far, he has a bicep swivel right here, a little bit hindrance in terms of movement because of his wings, single jointed elbow with pins, wrist can swivel and hinge forward and back, he has an upper torso right here, he doesn't have a ab crunch, can do a split, upper thigh swivel right here, double jointed pinless knees, this is the new improvement, the pinless one, legs can kick forward, feet can hinge forward and back and has an ankle rocker. He has a new bendy wire tail that can swivel on his behind. And that wraps up our deep dive into the Marvel Legends SDCC 2025 Savage Land 3-pack of Rogue, Shanna, and Sauron. From head sculpts, removable costume, and accessories, size comparison, and Kitbash, we covered it all. Whether you are a hardcore Marvel Legends collector, an X-Men fan, or hunting for SDCC exclusive, this review gives you the full picture without risking breaking your expensive figures. If you found this helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more in-depth Marvel Legends review, Kitbash tips, and 2025 figure rankings. Drop a comment below. I want to hear which Savage Land figure is your must-have and how do you plan to display them alongside with your Marvel Legends collection. And don't forget, stay tuned for part 2 of this review where we'll take a deeper dive into kit bashing and I'll answer some of the top questions from this video. Please check out my X-Men Marvel Legends playlist right here on the top right corner of your screen. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you on the next one.